Actually, it's gonna be the Granger getting banned out right here. I think the Baxia, that is a graphical issue
Yeah,
from the
but just
side
kind of like
of Passion Fruits.
yoink it away in the shot a little bit.
Kalea getting banned out for Ignite.
Simple.
Simple.
Oh.
Oh! He used to be part RSG as
Oh.
well, I think.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, well, congrats to him for making it through to the last chance qualifiers.
Yeah, so I would say that this team might actually have quite a bit of promise. I mean, we got Boncuti in here.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if whether the Ryzen is the same Ryzen that we have seen before back then. The second Ryzen, because there was
Yeah.
like the first Ryzen that was like
Actually, speaking of which, I think Babong
uh-huh.
kind of looks familiar too.
It's Boncuti.
Bong Cutie.
Yeah, it's Boncuti.
Oh, so they do have prior experience as
Yes, but
well.
I've never seen before Zizek and
And Tataris.
Taurus.
Yeah.
But Ryan definitely. That's Super Ryan.
Wait, I thought Super Ryan was in another squad.
No, that is the other Ryan, the EXP Ryan.
This Ryan is the Rome Ryan.
This is the other Rome Ryan. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
He was. Crap, I think he's RG also at one point in time.
XRSG too,
I
right?
think he was XRG
There's a
at
lot
one
of
point in time as well.
there's a lot of promise for Coach Simple though. I think he was under Youngin's belt, Coach Youngin's belt
I
for
think
a
so.
period
Yeah.
of time,
Mhm.
and he also we had a little bit of interaction, and he said like, oh, he wants to branch out and do his own coaching as well. So
Mm.
he was asking for advice. So I'm really proud of him for making it this far, especially in the last chance qualifier. So we'll see how his band actually faces up against Coach Cryptic. I like that name a lot, Cryptic.
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 So the bands will be the Kalea, Harith, and Fanny from the side of Ignite. For Coach Simple, betting out pretty simple stuff. Ranger, Chip, and Moskov. First pick Hayabusa. Ignite responds with the Phovius. I think that could be
Lucas.
the Lucas pick as
Yeah.
well. Lucas is wide
It feels
open.
very icony.
Iconic.
Yeah, it sounds like something that Icon would play. In fact, last
Mm.
time a long time ago when he plays jungle, this is like literally like 2 3 years ago. He
Yeah.
plays a lot of fighter junglers. So I think that this Lucas might pretty much be in his belt, and I think that they're just kind of thinking, Lucas versus the Hayabusa. Is it something that we kind of want to uh, meddle into? Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say the Badang as well.
okay.
So you have double wrestlers again, or actually a boxer
Yeah.
this time
I
around.
mean, they don't have to snap pick the Lucas, considering the fact that Hayabusa's already picked.
Yeah,
Unless EXP Lucas
XP Lucas.
still can be a thing.
Mm.
But there is also still quite a lot of heroes that is currently available. In fact, since we are talking about EXP as well, since Focus and the Badang has been taken away, there could still be a pretty high chance that the Lucas EXP might actually be a thing, unless Baxia. Baxia
Baxia.
EXP could be a thing too.
So the Baksa Juicin will be taken up by Passion Fruits again. It's kind of like deja vu from the previous game with Nightwind. They picked up
Uh-huh.
the Baksa and the Juicin, but it didn't really do too much
Yeah, I
because
think they
now
just needed to roam more.
they opened up the Kimmy over
Oh,
for
yeah.
Ignite's pickings. I
Mhm.
think that would be the chink in the armor, and I think they
This is
would
very
step pick that up.
AoE
Yeah,
fight, team fight, death ball style.
yeah.
So if they were to go ahead with the Kimi, I think that is probably a very good idea too. They
Balls in their
don't have
court.
to focus on the Lucas actually.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Loyi.
it
I
still
love it
works
so
within
much.
the same realm actually.
Yeah.
Very aggressive, a very fast-paced kind of thing. So if
Yep.
they're able to get someone that continues on to this momentum, or rather this kind of pacing, whereby they play by the tempo, they should be good.
Yep. I'm always very excited to see Loyi being picked up because there's so much more potential in team fights, so much more potential and dimensions in how they want to play the macro game.
Hmm.
And it makes the gold lane's job actually that much more easier because after a team fight, use the version play to disperse and go back to your lane, just keep farming up. So no time wasted, no wasted movements at all.
Hmm.
So going to the second stage of the bans, Ignite banning out the Gatokacha, which is a natural predator or counter to
Death ball
whatever they
corpse.
want to pick up for that gold lane. So maybe someone that sits back a little bit more. You could go in straight for a 1-1 pick now that Baxia is getting picked up right here as well.
Hmm.
It kind of mitigates that inbuilt purify, and you can sort of escape from the Hayabusa for yourself as well. They will ban out the Lucas in response for the side of Passion Fruits and Ignite. Last ban, it will be the high loss, so no more zone potential for Passion Fruits.
Okay, very EXP focused for Coach Cryptic, trying to take all those away. Preferably, they will want to see the Baxia to be the roamer and they're paired up with Juicin. Either way, for the side of Passion Fruits, I think that is still a very good combination to look out for. So if we want to take a look at the EXP, we're gonna have to first identify Phoveus versus Badang. Very likely the Badang is gonna be the roamer anyways.
Yep.
So Phoveus into the EXP. I will still say that Glue could still be a very good pick coming into the EXP going up against the Phoveus. Phoveus will start to win a little bit more at level 4, but regardless, I think that winning in the initial matchup is probably pretty important, especially going up against the Juicin plus Baxia.
I do pick up what you're putting down. But then again,
don't pick it up.
Why?
Who has to put it down? There's
No,
a reason why I put it down.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, but
It's
if
a-
I put
it's
it down,
it's a
I don't want it to
metaphor.
be picked up.
I don't know where you're getting with Fredrin getting picked up for the side of IG. You know, we've seen this quite a
Huh.
lot, and we talked about this. Fredrin pickup against the Juicin, a natural counter for the tanks.
Okay.
Is it the second time that Ignite did this already? I remember there was
I
one
can't
team
remember
that
if
actually
whether it
picked
was
up.
Ignite.
Yeah.
I cannot remember if whether it was Ignite. Now the problem, the problem still stays. But there is one thing that does help this composition a little bit is because of the mobility that they have from the Loi.
Yes.
At least they have ways to really deal with the Juicin immediately. Because the problem about Fredrin into a Juicin is that Juicin is always tucked behind the front lines. In this case, Baxia and a Tigreal. So for Aloy, she can indiscriminately just teleport over to the back, and they will have a fast-paced way to just jump right in and really just zone in, beeline onto the Juicin, which is which after the energy eruption and all that kind of jazz, I don't think the Juicin will have this time, the space to realistically be able to deal with the Fredrin unless the ultimate's popped.
I think that Lloyd just gives a lot of dimensions, and what I tell you, 1-1 getting picked up right here, perfect pick for Brother How How, aka Chu. On the other side, though, Nathan and Tigreal for last pick by the side of Passion Fruits. I like what they're going for, very backline heavy, but they do have a lot of magic damage as well. Hayabusa will have a tougher time targeting onto that 1-1 because she's just too hoppy and sneaky with the movements and with the feats. So it's all down to execution and how well the Hayabusa is actually being played out by Zach. In this case, though, I do prefer the side of Passion Fruits draft even more, just because of the fact that they have to juice in and
Going
the
up against the
counter
Fredrin.
pick. Yeah, I just think that it doesn't work
I
in the
feel
early
like that's
game.
still a little bit of a deal breaker.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
still a deal breaker to me. You want to play around the jungler, but if the jungler is going to be hard countered by a single mage, I think that there is a lot of potential that is just lost from the side of Ignite game. So, well, we'll see how that eventually goes and how do they even, counter that problem that they have within of their midst at this point in time.
I don't think that should be a problem if they clear their cards right, but Bong taking a lot of damage from Chu already on the top side.
Yep.
We'll need to retreat for now. On the mid side though, Lethal Wanderer will be attempted on by 2. There's a Retribution Steal by Zach. And Ignite and pull back. That's not what you want to see in a Fredrin. It just creates so much annoyance when you have to deal with Juicin as a tank.
So of course, right off the bat, let's talk a little bit more about the laning compositions, right? Go lane, just because of the early stages of the game, you can pretty much expect that the 1-1 is a lot more annoying just because of the Inspire, which you pretty much saw that 1-1 has been, kind of popping the weaknesses on Natan every now and then, and just kind of forcing the Natan back. You gotta be really afraid of that, right? Well, in the meantime, in the EXP lane, it's pretty much neck and neck, but the focus starts to get a little bit better at level 4. You outright wins against the Baxia, but I don't think that you will kill the Baxia in this case, but priority to go to the Baxia.
3-man collapse. Jet already popped this flicker. Will fall to the hands of Ryzen.
Okay, so with the first kill that is credited over to Passion Fruits, this is the kind of the expectations that we want to see. So with one death already being picked up from the side of Jet, that will pretty much mean that Passion Fruits now, they do have a small little advantage in terms of EXP. In fact, I think that Ryzen should be able to get level 4 real soon. Going up against the turtle fight with the Juicin in tow, I don't think that Icon will be able to do too much. We'll keep an eye out for how Icon is doing and how he even close up the gap between him and Ryzen.
Yeah, Blade is a non-factor in this fight. Zoned out by Juicin with the fist crack into the wall. Yuta goes. That's going to be the energy eruption, taunting both of them. Diversion play. Blade is right back into the fray. There's a 5v1. Taurus getting trapped up inside the wall. He will fall, delaying his inevitable doom. One more hit, he will be able to walk away safely, not until Jet has anything to say about it, as the turtle is free for Ignite's taking.
Speaking of non-factor, this game, or rather this fight for Ignite Gaming went well because the main hard counter, Ryzen, was actually not focused in the fight.
Yeah.
It was mostly just being, I think, zoned out from by Jet, and is not too interested in really dealing any form of damage or utilizing the Lantern Flare onto Icon himself. So this fight went over to Ignite Gaming solely because of that.
Nice face crack onto the wall. Ryzen, no more flicker, no Crimson Beacon at the ready. The Ryan's just right there, pushing everyone away. And I think Ignite Gaming has found their groove right now. Gold lead negligible at this point, but they do still have the momentum from the first turtle take. They can afford to go for a lot of these fights, but Passion Fruit already starting with the first rotations down to funnel himself and getting his core out of faster.
We're only 3 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, and when it comes down to the economical lead, there's not much of a difference. But in terms of the macro play, we do have the EXP laners just constantly just hiding themselves down in the bottom lane. Of course, Taurus though, he can definitely clear the lanes equally as fast, and when it comes down to moving about, definitely beat this Phobias. But now, it doesn't seem like there's a reason for the Bucks to move around because the next wave is incoming, while Phobias just kind of, taking his time, wasting out the entire creep wave down to the bottom lane. Only until now goes back. So if Baxia were to make his way up to the top lane in the next 10 seconds or so, he will be a level ahead, or rather he will be EXP ahead of Phobias while applying pressure up top.
Good read by Bong. They know that the diversion play was coming up on the top side because wide and open with the winning wave also slowly crashing in. As the next turtle spawns up in the next 20 seconds, both teams still even Stevens with negligible gold lead from either side. But even into the 5-minute mark, we typically see the EXP lane rotating and to be the possible core, but we don't see that in this particular game. So that's going to be a little bit tricky for either side to have this turtle objective take. No rotations coming in strong as of now. Chu still hanging on tight on that top side. They look like they want to win out on this main objective as the rotations are coming in towards that turtle. Ryzen's keeping everyone busy, zoning everyone out. Turtle down low. Icon steals it up. Good retribution, and the crossbow tang actually lands onto Tigreal, taking him out in the process as well. Icon take a lot of damage and soaking everything up. Down goes two by the side of Passion Fruit. Ignite Gaming coming up strong, using a lot of their resources and pushing Passion Fruit away from the main objective.
Oh man, Zac eating up that entire ultimate coming in from Icon. That's definitely not great to see. But in the meantime, it does seem like a quick little defense from Passion Fruits. Otta just kind of push Ignite Gaming away, and the top lane T1 is just about to go down. But unfortunately, it's gonna get worse.
Push, scratch, and tickle. Down goes the top T1 turret. Passion Fruits opened their map. Ignite Gaming ramping up the tempo just a little bit. This is your time where Chu's able to start that early game rotation down mid side, try to funnel himself up a little bit more. Good read on the crossbow tank to be able to get a little bit more kills, and using that diversion play, what I tell you, just effectively farming up, out-rotating Bong wherever he is on that map. 1-0-2 for Chu, and it's still going up strong. The T1 bottom side will fall as well. It doesn't look like Passion Fruits will be able to out-speed, out-rotate, out-momentamize Ignite Gaming.
Okay, so they're mostly going to be using these diversion, at least for now, right? Using this diversion for cross-map plays a little bit more, trying to get more objectives as it is for now, since they realize they probably don't want to focus too much on the battles. As we talked about before, Icon will have an issue trying to deal with Passion Fruits. Maybe this is the reason why they do not want to force a lot of these fights. Even though Passion Fruits themselves actually should force fights because of their higher priority EXP lanes.
Oh, they know. This crack onto Zac though. Shadow down on the backside. Jet taking a lot of damage. Ryzen will pick that one up as well. Taurus deep into enemy territory. Find a stand, find an angle, but Chu able to outmaneuver, outweave that. He does have the passive being popped up, just holding on to the crossbow tag. That's the implosion. Down onto Blade. Will take him out as well. Bong with the entropy, able to get double damage in with the with the hits, with the bullets as well. And Chu holding on to crossbow tang. I don't know why. but they could have been able to wipe Passion Fruits out. I think he was just holding on a little bit too much. Chu doesn't have the DHS just as of now. Let's take a replay. Let's break it down a little bit.
Okay, so right off the bat, just by looking at the power of Ignite Gaming, okay, we don't have that yet, but we'll probably bring it back soon.
Choo choo choo.
Okay.
Train. Choo choo train.
It's fine. Choo-choo train's fine. Choo-choo train's fine. But yeah, I was kind of like talking about Taurus being, you know, a little bit more comical, right? Because Phobius versus a Baxia, you probably and always want to see the Baxia to be ahead in terms of the in terms of the movement, and whenever you realize that okay, Phobius is gonna be a little bit far back, he's farming up the ballistas, he's still taking his time. Okay, this is our opportunity. This 5v4, we gotta go for it.
Yep.
And they have to juice in.
Yep.
They want to play into the Fredrin. We haven't seen those aggressive front coming in from Passion Fruits just yet. It kind of feels as though they're just kind of like gauging and kind of like testing the distance against the opponents. But I think that by the time that they realize, oh, we can fight back, it might have been a little bit too late because they did not manage to make full use of that lane priority that they are supposed to have in the early start of the game.
Yeah. Just as Bong came in to the team fight, it created so much pressure for the frontline tanks because Nathan is one of those forgotten marksman heroes that is able to just melt down the frontline tanks very effectively and very fast. People usually pick up the carry for that, but carry is only single target. The fact of the matter is, Nathan is able to split that damage up with the entropy, dealing so much more double damage with that, and you don't really have like that 50% mitigation of that physical attack, as well as you do magic attack in within your kit as well. So there's a lot of things that I think for the triple tank meta that Ignite Gaming is wearing right now doesn't really work too well against that. I also find it hard to think about a layering where Fredrin is able to get into the backlines or able to soak up enough damage before Chu is able to do his thing. There is just one thing that boggles my mind, why Chu holding onto the ultimate. I think that for Taurus, he is a little too tanky right now. He does not have that damage to melt that down, but hold on a second, as the fist crack already initiated. Diversion play down on that's long bush. You also have the explosion just holding barely on. Yuda takes a lot of damage as well. Chu purifies himself and strong little tank. Soars through the sky. Taurus gets taken out. Not before Icon goes down as well as 3 members down by the side of Ignite Gaming and Passion Fruits. Just Taurus falling, a worthy sacrifice for a nice little objective conversion for themselves.
And of course, Blade being joined back. Oh man, that is just a fine layer. What do you do about it? Kind of thing.
Nice little claw machine play by Ryzen, pulling him back. And it was just an unfortunate turn of events. Blade wouldn't have been in that long bush. Let's break it down real quick. I think Jet was caught out way too soon. The version play comes in and they go straight for the next couple of targets, even forcing out a flicker when it shouldn't have been.
I think it was Bong that actually just kind of pulled everyone together right after that diversion play was made. So it was unfortunately a bad case of diversion just to, you know, kind of accelerate their movements into the team fight, only to realize, oh crap, we're actually playing right into the hearts of the enemies.
Yeah, it's tough for the Fredrin to play as well because as much as he can soak up, it's not like he can taunt everyone onto him. Typically, you would pair up the Fredrin together with the Gato Kacha just to have a double taunt, so you can layer in all of these crowd control abilities. That actually just to check the rush from Bong. I thought he was going to go in, but I know he's a little bit more disciplined than that. Scoreline still even Stevens. Passion Fruit just 2 kills up ahead on Ignite Gaming. First Lord is spawning up as of now. As Ignite Gaming using the diversion play, they look like they want to go in. They send Chu. What is going on? I think a little bit of miscommunication right there. Blitzing everything back down. Doesn't look like the Icon is able to get there in time. But the yin-yang reactions coming through. Back and forth. Chu soars into the sky once again. They take down 2 crucial members for the side of Passion Fruit. A consolation prize for taking up that Lord. There's a double kill for Chu. Still going strong in the back line as well. It's Bong against the world, and they're cycling it through down in the mid lane.
True, Passion Fruits did manage to win in that Lord's take. However, Ignite Gaming didn't even lose a single member in that battle. And now they lost the Holy Defense up in the middle lane. This was just Passion Fruit, Passion Fruit just blitzing down the Lord, only to realize, oh crap, we ran out of resources for this upcoming fight. Ignite Gaming, they played the death ball well enough, they even managed to send Chu up to the sky for the crossbow of Tang. Zack even trying to look for an opportunity given that there is a lot of low HP members from the side of Ignite Gaming just to, you know, kind of throw and see what hits.
So it's still anyone's game. Lord already taken care of. Let's take a little atomization and see what really goes down right here. 2 is coming online though. The DHS is enough to break through the defenses that Taurus and Ryan has built up for themselves.
So 11 minutes into this game, we've got quite a bit of these turrets that's already been destroyed. Let's talk about that. With the T1 that's down in the top lane for both sides, T1 in the middle lane as well as T2 in the middle lane for Pack 2. But in the meantime,
rolling the deep. Icon getting pulled back. Down low. Princess Grab won't land. This crack tries to save. And last ditch effort goes down as well. Jet Icon, nowhere to be seen, nobody to be felt. This diversion play to get them out in the nick of time as Passion Fruits still standing up strong and fighting hard. Scoreline equalized once again.
well, 2 deaths for the side of Ignite Gaming, but that is not going to be stopping Ignite Gaming at any time soon. They still have Chu that's currently running at a 4:1, or rather hopping, with a 4:1:6 scoreline. Still a very strong marksman that you're going to have to really consider. At this point in time, the problem that the Passion Fruits may potentially have is the amount of crowd control that they have to really stop Chu. They can, of course, deal crazy amount of damage and just wipe out the entire front lines of Ignite Gaming, but they need to have some reservations as to how much damage or how much skills that they have left to deal with the Chu. And realistically speaking, only Zack can deal with him.
Entropy already laid down. Taurus finds himself deep in the Tri-Brush as Ignite Gaming dissipates and disperse. No crucial ultimates used as of now, as Passion Fruits just barely holding on to that long lane, trying to push that back and maintain that pressure before taking out that Lord.
So we've got Ryzen just going around and ensuring that every single one of these brushes are completely covered and always rechecking these brushes. Can you see the amount of dedication he has just to look out for any potential diversion plays that could have happened? Love that.
Diversion at the ready, Blade holding on.
Not so trigger happy.
Not so trigger happy, not like what we see how Gucci plays for Luo Yi. It's a very much like Sayla kind of reaction where he's just looking at it, but he's got his finger on it.
He's looking at something.
He's looking. He's just thinking, okay.
Okay, only to cancel.
Lord gets a reset as well.
Do it, do it. Look at that pixel brush. Ah, that pixel brush looks very yummy, huh?
Handling the bottom side of the wave. It doesn't look like Passion Fruits is able to maintain the side wave long lane pressure. Icon's already there as well. He's holding on to diversion play. They know where they're coming in strong. There's 3 members in. He steps a little bit too far. They go straight for Zack. But Implosion tries to catch Blade as well. Blade will fall, but hands off Bong. And from the side front, Taurus taking a lot of damage, soaking everything in. Cosmo Tang goes wide, goes high. As Zack tries to go straight for Chu. Shadow kill will be initiated, will get locked down, and Chu will be safe for now. It's a 1-to-1 trade for both sides.
That's a good idea coming in from Ignite Gaming, and that was actually kind of like a 50-50 diversion play into that small little pixel brush at the southern part of the Lord. If there was anyone inside, they ditch. If there's no one inside, perfect. But unfortunately, they had a choice, if whether they go upwards or go downwards. Downwards for the Hayabusa or upwards for a group of people. But it kind of seems as though Jet has decided, okay, let me just get Zack. But unfortunately, they don't have long enough of a crowd control to bring him down. Icon
getting pulled back, starting kicking things off into motion. That's a nice little fish track into the implosion. That's on 2. Shadow kill once again. Lord gets a reset.
Oh.
Retribution already used up, but no one's taking out that Lord. 3 members down for the side of Passion Fruits. Ignite Gaming ramping up that tempo, igniting their passions, igniting their dreams, and taking down 4 members of Passion Fruits. The Lord will be a non-factor as 30 seconds on the clock. They want to run it down.
I think that running this down could potentially get them this game, considering there's only like 15 seconds left until Passion Fruits eventually get everyone spawned in. Taurus have got a tall order to just hold this fight out.
Taurus against the world. You still have 1 cannon minion soaking up that damage.
They
might be able to do it though. Ignite Gaming.
They did it!
Showing us who's boss.
Oh, they did it. They had such a short little window to make that decision. They made a good decision this time, run it right down in the middle lane and just no problems whatsoever. They dealt with Taurus great enough, and unfortunately Taurus just, as a boxer, doesn't really have the capability to buy time. Even if you just kind of like run out, look, follow me. You don't have any reason for them to follow you, unfortunately.
You know, speaking of unfortunate, two of the community teams that came up today from the last chance qualifiers first stage is out.
Yeah.
So
So
now we're
we're
back into
back to
the
the same.
challenger seed
Challenger
teams.
teams, yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting because right after this next match will be Sovereign,
versus Everlasting Love.
Everlasting Love,
Yes. And down on the bottom side of the bracket, it
King's
is going-
Vanguard versus Ignite.
Oh man. Oh man.
Tough for either teams.
I'm just not looking forward to the next one.
I don't think it would be the same as I don't want to jinx it. Okay, I won't jinx it. I won't jinx it. Let's pull up the stats though. Let's take a look
Yeah.
at what actually went down. Yes, this doesn't tell the whole story, but honestly though, Chu played a heck of a game. And the fact of the matter is, he went for the rose gold before he got the malefic gun, and he doesn't even need to buy the boots. So it created a lot of opportunity and space for him to scale up and get his core item spikes. At the end of the game, he was already 12,000 gold ahead. He was already 12,000 gold in total. So
Uh-huh.
that's a full item and a half.
So I will say that ultimately, IG, they had a lot of ways to just deal with passion fruits, and ultimately it just boils down to if whether Zach can snipe Chu or not. Because I mentioned this before already, this is a very front to back kind of lineup from inside of PFR. We have a lot of tanky boys from the side of Ignite Gaming, and they are very readily happy to kind of throw their bodies. Even though Icon and Yuta didn't exactly die so many times, they have Chu at the back lines that is ready to just spring into action. If Zach were to come in with the Ogi Shadow kill, we've seen before, Icon, Yuta, Jet, they come in, soak all this damage together.
Yeah, even Blade was holding on to the diversion plays. I think that last play where Blade appeared from the back to initiate a flank, and of course Jet creating a four-man fist crack, set things into motion. It made it so easy for Chu to pop all the weakness points. That's a 94% team fight participation with 67,000 damage dealt.
So definitely great to see what IG has gotten for themselves. I think that the final pick of the 1-1 definitely threw Passion Fruits completely off guard. It is a Fuel Purify built in the kit of 1-1, and let's be honest here, the one crowd control skill from Passion Fruits happens to be the most important one, the longest cooldown one, and the most impactful one,
Yep.
which can be nullified from a single skill from 1-1.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed. While in the meantime, Lantern Flare is not guaranteed.
The issue was Ryan made good implosions. But before we jump into that, let's take a look at MVP. It will be Icon as Fredrin. We all doubted him because it was a Fredrin pick against
the
a
Juicin.
Juicin.
It's supposed to be rough. It's supposed to be really rough. So it's kind of tough to really kind of expect a Fredrin to really perform at this point in time. But hey, he did, right? 4 kills, 2 deaths, 9 assists, total of 81% KP. And of course, 100,000 damage taken. Not as rough as I expected.